guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how I made this lovely off-shoulder Igbo blouse. If you want to know how I made it, make sure you watch to the end. That's the back, the sleeve and the front. Make sure you watch to the end to see how I made this lovely off-shoulder Igbo blouse. Okay guys, this is what we've been needing, the fabric. We've been needing this black lovely fabric. We've been needing our lining, our ruler. So I got my hip curve ruler. I got my curve ruler. I got my other curve ruler. But we also be needing our measurement tape, our scissors, our measurement, and a chalk. And I've put my phone here for calculator to calculate the measurement. I will be telling you the measurement we are working with today. Okay guys, let's start. So what I have done, I have used the hip measurement to get the wideness of the fabric that I need. So I've used the hip measurement and then I had allowance to it. So the hip measurement is 47. I'm just going to use my calculator, so I'll tell you how much fabric and allowance I added to it. So the hip measurement is 47 divided by 4 is 11.75. So this here is 22. I don't need the whole allowance, but I don't just want to cut and waste. There's no point. So I added 4 inches plus 4. So 11.75 plus 4. So I give you 15.75. So this is all the amount of fabric I need up to here. So it's the hip measurement divided by 4 plus 4 inches. So this white line here is all the amount of fabric I need. So I just decided to just leave these ones there. So it's not really useful. So I just leave it there. Okay. So the measurement we will be needing, we need our bust measurement, we need your waist measurement, shoulder, hem, round sleeve, which is hem, length of blouse, shoulder to waist, armhole, bust point, the off shoulder, because it's going to be off shoulder, so you need to measure the person's shoulder round, all the way round to the front. The elbow, the length of the sleeve. I've also measured the shoulder to underbust measurement, and also the length of sleeve if I haven't mentioned. Then the hip as well, because we need the hip for the bottom part of the blouse as well. So these are the measurements we are going to be working with. I will be telling you the numbers as I go along. So the first thing we are going to do is your shoulder measurement, which is in this case is 15. 15 divided by 2. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Normally I normally measure 1 inch down as a guideline. So that's what I have done here. And this line here, as I said, this line is just the amount of fabric I need plus 4 inches. So I use the hip measurement to get this because the hip is the biggest part of the body. And from here to here is the length of the blouse plus 2-inch allowance. So 1 inch as a guideline, then 1 inch at the bottom to sew it. So now your shoulder measurement divided by 2. In this case, the shoulder measurement is 15 divided by 2. That is 7.5 plus half an inches because you got a sleeve. So we are going to be putting half an inches for the sleeve. So that will be 8. Just looking for my chalk. So you can use your calculator if you don't know how to calculate it offhand, or you can use your measurement tape. What I do is, the shoulder measurement is 15, so I just take my tape, the end of the tape here, and I mark it to 15, and then you crease it really hard, and then it will give you 7.5 plus half an inch is sewing. That's 8. So I mark down 8 here. So the top one here, the top one is the front. This here is the back. I have put 2-inch sewing allowance here. So this part here, let me move it so you can see, camera can see it properly. I hope you can see. Okay, so this part here, the bottom one, there's 2 pieces of fabric here. That's the top one for front, and this is the bottom one for the back. I've added 2 inches allowance here. I'll mark it with the chalk if you can see it. So there's a 2 inches zip allowance for the zip. So this is the zip allowance, this is the mid front. Always fold the fabric into 2. You cut it on the fold. Okay, so we've taken down our shoulder measurement. So now we are going to be taking down the length of the armhole. The length of the armhole is 10. So we are going to be marking down 10. And then you take a ruler and just connect the 2 lines together with a straight line. Okay, so from this point 10 here, I'm just going to draw a straight line so that's to the side, same. Okay, let me just draw this again to make sure it's straight. So now this becomes your chest line. This area here is now the chest line. So what we are going to do now is to come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. This is very much like a basic body stem drafting. This is just normal basic because it's a simple blouse. It's an off-shoulder, simple off-shoulder blouse. There's no padding, no princess cut, just normal that. Okay, so we've come down 1 inch for the shoulder slope. Now we are going to be marking down all the other measurements. So shoulder to bust point. In this case, it's 11.5. The reason why I make the armhole length 10 is because of the shoulder slope. Because by the time you remove 1, it's going to be 9. So I'm marking down now the bust point. So this is the bust point, and then you need to mark down the waist as well. So the shoulder to waist. The shoulder to waist in this case is I'm just looking for it. Shoulder to waist is 17. So shoulder to waist 17. Shoulder to under bust is 15. And then shoulder to upper hip, which is where the length of the blouse is 24. So that's the length of the blouse, 24. But then we've added 1 inch for sewing allowance to join to the shoulder and the bottom. So now I'm just going to, from the top of the guideline here, I'll just mark 24 here. I'll take a ruler and draw a straight line. But the 1 inch here is the sewing allowance to join it to the shoulder and to turn it to the main fabric. So I'm just drawing a straight line as a guideline, just a normal straight line. Okay, so now I'm just going to draw a straight line just to connect all the lines, just to make them straight, so it's easy to draft, to put down all the measurements. Okay, so I just drew a straight line. So what we are going to do next now is to divide the bust measurement into 4. Okay, so the bust measurement is 43. So 43 divided by 4 is giving you 10.75. I just round it to the nearest figure of 11. Because we are still going to sew it anyway, so we're going to sew it off. So I've marked it 11. Don't forget I haven't had seam allowance. So now we are going to be putting down the waist measurement. The waist measurement is 39 divided by 4. So that's 9.75. The waist measurement is practically almost 10. But it's 9.75, just in case you want to mark 9.75. But you will be using your own measurement, not this measurement I'm using. You will be using your own measurement. So the next thing now is the hip measurement. So that's the bottom of the blouse. So the hip measurement is 47 divided by 4. That's 11.75. Practically it's almost 12. So use your own measurement. Don't use the measurement I'm giving you now, your measurement or your client's measurement. Okay, so these are all the measurements. I've marked them down. So that's the bust, the waist, and the hip measurement. So in this case, I'm not using the underbust measurement. I'm not using the underbust measurement. I'm not putting it down. You can put it down if you want, but I'm not putting down the underbust measurement. I'm not using it in this blouse. So I'm just going to connect these 3 lines together. I take my ruler and connect them with a straight line first. Okay, so I've connected them with a straight line, as you can see. So now I'm going to use the curved part of the ruler and draw a smooth, nice curved shape in this point that is pointing. Because remember, our body is not pointing, it's curved. Okay, so now I have blended the curve in properly with the ruler. Hope you can see it. Don't know if you can see it, but I've used the ruler to draw a nice curve shape there. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to be adding seam allowance. So I'm going to be adding 2 inches seam allowance, all the way 2 inches, apart from the waist. The waist I'm going to be adding 2.5, maybe 2.5 or 3, because of the dart. So I think I'm going to be adding 3 inches seam allowance to the waist, because by the time I take half an inch on the dart, it's going to come to 2 inches. So on the same, on the hip section, I'm going to be adding 2 inch, and then I'll connect them together. I can freehand it, or you can use your ruler and connect them together. Okay, so that's the seam allowance added. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm just quickly going to measure the half. I'm going to work with the shoulder and the depth of the neck now. So what I'm going to do, because it's a off shoulder blouse, I'm going to first of all measure the wideness of the neck. So I'm going to be measuring 4 inches. I don't really need this part of it, but this is how I cut my off shoulder measurement. There is different ways of cutting off shoulder blouse. There's different ways. This is another method I'm using here. I'm using the regular sleeve method. So I've marked down 4 inches as a wideness. For the depth, I'm going to be marking down 8.5, because the back and front is the same thing. So I'm going to be marking down 8.5. Maybe I should mark down 8 first, then I'll see how it goes. I marked down 8. Okay, so this is the 8 here. This one is 8.5. So this is the 8. So I'll take my ruler and just connect the shoulder slant to the width of the neck. Okay, so I've connected them. Let me connect it properly. So it's okay. So that's the shoulder slant. And then now, from here, I'm going to measure what is left, which is 9. So I'm going to look for the half of 9, which is 4.5. So from here, I'll take my ruler and just draw the armhole shape. The shape of the armhole. Just draw the shape of the armhole. Just to connect it to the seam allowance there. Okay, so before I cut anything out, because as I said, I'm not cutting it as a normal off shoulder blouse. I'm cutting it the way you cut the regular sleeve. So what I'm going to do, instead of using this half here, I'm not going to be using that half. I'm going to be measuring 2.5 inches from the shoulder slope. I'm going to be measuring 2.5 inches from the shoulder slope, and then I'm going to connect it like so. Do you see the way I slanted my ruler? I'm going to be connecting it to the armhole point here. This is the seam allowance here. So from the shoulder slope, instead of using the half of the remaining armhole, I'm not using the half of the remaining armhole. I'm going to be using 2.5. So from the shoulder slope here, I measure down 2.5. So from that point, I take my ruler. I want to connect it to here. So I put my ruler here, slanted my ruler a bit. As you can see, I slanted my ruler from here. So from here, I'm going to draw a straight line. So you can shape it when you reach here. You can shape it a bit if you want to. You can just shape it a bit if you want to. So from that point there, I'm going to take my ruler, the curved part of my ruler. Can you see the way I'm positioning my ruler? So the curved part of my ruler, I'm positioning it to meet the 8 inches that I marked down. The 8 inches is the depth of the neck. So I'm positioning it now and I'm connecting it. So this is what I got. So this is the depth of the neck. I've connected here. Of course, I can come down a bit more, but I'm not coming down a bit more because I don't want it to be too low at the end of the day. So I'll repeat what I did again. So this is the shoulder slope here. I come down by 1 inch to get the shoulder slope. So from the shoulder slope, I measure down 2.5. So from this point, I connect it to the armhole point here, which is this seam allowance down here. As I say, you can curve yours if you want to curve it. When I'm cutting it out, I will probably curve it a little bit. You can use your curve ruler just to do a bit of a curve if you want. Just to connect it to the, so you can do a bit of a curve there if you want. Just like that if you want. But I may cut this, I may cut the curve one. It depends. So I connected this point to the armhole point there. And then from here, I took my curve ruler. I position my curve ruler. And I draw the round neck shape to the point which I have marked, which is the depth of the neck. Okay? So, at the bottom part of the blouse, which is here, I'm just going to come up just by 1 inch. Because I don't want it to be too shapy, so just 1 inch. So this 1 inch, I'll just connect it to the front. You can use a ruler or you can free hand it if you want. Or you can use your ruler, whichever one you prefer. You can use the curved part of your ruler if you want to use the curved part of your ruler. Or you can just connect it free-handed. You can just free-hand it to the seam allowance, which is here. This is the seam allowance here. This is the length of the blouse. Here the shock is. This is the seam allowance. So I've connected it to the seam allowance. You can free-hand it, or you can use your ruler. Okay, so all we need to do now is cut it out. That's all we need to do now. The back and the front is the same neck. The back and the front is the same. So I just cut it out now. So I'm going to put a little bit of a curve there. Okay. Okay, let me cut it out properly so you can see once I finish cutting it out. Okay, so I decided to just put a little curve there. It's not necessary. It's not necessary you do that. I just decided to just put a curve there. Okay, so the bottom part, I'm just going to cut it off as well. So it gives me the little curve shape there. I don't want it to be too curvy. Okay, so this is it. So that's the front and that's the back. So before I separate them properly, let me mark the dart. Let me show you how I mark my dart. Okay, so what I'll do is, here is the shoulder. This mark here is the shoulder to underbust measurement. So I'm going to start the dart from there. So from this underbust, of course you can start the dart from your bust point. This is the bust point here. You can start the dart from underneath your bust point. If you come down by 1/2 inch, or you can come down by 1 inch. But I'm going to start it at the underbust to the maybe I'm just going to do 9 or maybe 8. Okay, so from here you have to measure the person's bust span. In this case, the bust span in this case is 8, so plus half an inch is sewing allowance. So that's 4 divided by 8 divided by 2 is 4 plus half an inch, 4.5. So I mark 4.5 done. So wherever I want the dart to end. And I take a straight ruler, I connect them. In this case, I think I'll just do the length of the dart to be 8. I don't think I want it to be all the way down to the bottom part of the blouse. So I'm just going to come up by 1 inch. That's from the length of the blouse. Remember, here is just a seam allowance. So this is the length of the blouse, the dart I want, 8, from the underbust. So I can go up, let me go up a little bit. Let's go up a bit so that I can be 9. So I'll go up a bit to the bust point area. I go up 1 inch, so I just do 9. Okay, so I've come up by 1 inch. So which practically means from the bust point, I came down by 2.5 inches. Then I measure from there to here, which is 9. So from the waist point here, I'll come in by half an inch on both sides. I come in by half an inch on both sides at the waist point. Okay, so I take my ruler and I connect this point. Connect this point to this point, this point to this point, this point to this point. Like so. Okay, so that's how I connect my dart. Let's take the ruler off so you can see. I hope you can see it properly. So that's how I connect my dart. So I'll transfer this dart to the back and to the other side as well. That's what I will do. So when I'm sewing it, I know where the darts are. Okay guys, so I'm going to take this and use it to cut the fabric. The reason why I cut the lining first is because I don't want the chalk to show on the fabric. So I'll take this to cut the fabric. Okay everybody, so I'm going to now cut the sleeve. I've already used the lining to cut the back and the front, so I'll just show you. This is the front. Let me cut the sleeve out, then I'll show you properly. So the sleeve is in 2 parts. I don't want the sleeve to be too long. So the sleeve is in 2 parts. The overall sleeve is 13. So I'm cutting half first. I'm doing 7. So I'm marking 7. This is the first one. The other part of the sleeve is like a flare. So this is 7. This includes sewing allowance. And I fold the fabric into 4. So the fabric is folded into 4. This is the folded edge over here. So I'm just going to cut this out so you can see what I want to cut properly, because at the moment it's all the remaining fabric that is here. So I'm going to cut the fabric out so you can see how I cut the sleeve. Let me quickly cut it out so you can see how I cut the sleeve. Okay, so let me remove this one. This one has refused to leave the fabric alone. Okay, so I remove that one. and then we can work with this one. It's much easier for you to see it. So now this is the top section of the sleeve. This is the top section. So what I do is that I take the front. Remember the front that I cut earlier on. So I need the armhole, this point here. I need this point here. So that's what I'm going to be placing. This is the folded edge of the sleeve. It's in two. You know, there's two sleeves, right and left. So this is the folded edge. So I'm going to be taking this here. I'm going to be placing it. First of all, I'm going to mark the round sleeve first, just to make sure I'm on the safer side. I mark the round sleeve is 14 divided by 2 is 7 plus seam allowance of 1 inch. So 7, so that would be 8. So that is 8. That's 8. I'm just marking it all the way down. 8. Okay. So the elbow, which of course that's where the flare part is going to be somewhere here. So this is just the wideness of the round sleeve, which is your biceps. So it's 14. So I've added 14 divided by 2 is 7 plus 1 inch sewing allowance, that is 8. So this is 8. Okay, so now I take this here. This is the armhole here. This is the armhole. So I take this armhole. Of course, as I say, sometimes people cut their armhole like this. But I don't want to cut it like this because I want it to fit in a different way. So that's why I cut it in the raglan sleeve form. So I'm going to take this and put it at the edge here. So I'm going to use the shock. Okay, so if you measure from one point of our hand to the other point of our arm, it's 8. So I just want to get divided by 2 is 4 plus 1 inch seam allowance is 5. So from one point of her arm on the bust here, where my finger is touching here, to the other side of her arm is 8 plus 1 inch sewing allowance is 5. So I'm going to measure that down first, so I know where to position this. So now I put it like this. So from the point of 5 there, from the point of 5, I'm just going to use the shock to mark it. I hope you guys can see it. So I've used the mat of the sleeve here to get there. So that's the opening, so that we join this one there. Okay, so I just cut it. All I need to do now is to cut it out. Okay, so when I sew it, I'll just open the front. I'll open the front of the blouse out. I'll take one of the sleeve. So when I want to sew it, I sew it right side together. I connect this one to this one here together. So I connect, I know it's black, so it's a bit difficult to see it. So I connect the two sleeves. As you can see, this is the sleeve here. I'm just using the lining to show you. So this is the sleeve. So this is the top here. So I'll connect it together. What I'll do is I'll fold the top, I will hem it a little bit, or I will use a bias to hem it. Okay, so I'll connect it to the other side as well. So it will look like this. By the time I sew the both sides together, it will be opened. Then I'll put the flare at the bottom. Okay guys, so I'm going to show you how I cut my flare for the sleeve section of the blouse. So the fabric, I folded the fabric into 4. There's 2 here, that's one, and there's another one at the bottom. So that's for the left and right sleeve. So from this top here, I'm just going to mark 2 inches down. So I'm marking only 2 inches down. So you can take the roundness of the elbow of the person. If you take the roundness, you divide it by 6.25, I think. I have to check the calculation later on again, which is roughly around 2 inches down. So I mark from there to there 2 inches. So I mark 2 inches all the way around, as you can see in the mark 2 inches all the way around to form a circle shape. And then from this point I mark down the length of the flare. So I mark the length of the flare all the way around to form a circle shape. So I'm just going to cut it out. So, and then I had a seam allowance, 1/2 inch seam allowance on both sides, so that's 1 inch seam allowance in total. So I cut it out. Okay, so I've cut it out. I know it's black, so it's difficult to see the fabric, but this is what I got. So this is my flare, which I will sew on the hand. I'm going to put a bit of, I cut it a bit big because I want to put a bit of gathers around it. So make sure you measure the person's hand because this is quite big. I cut it big because, as I say, I'm going to put a bit of gathers around it so it's more fuller. In most cases, you only need just 1 inch or 1.5 inch if you're not putting gathers around it, and if the fabric doesn't have the tendency to open itself, like this one, it got the holes around it, so it tends to open up. Yeah, so in most cases you only need maybe 1.5 inch for the opening, so that when you cut it, it's not too open. But this one, I'm putting the gathers on it. I'm going to pull a bit of a gather so it's more fuller. So this is the second one. So you can see there, that's one, and this is the other one, so that's 2. Okay, so this is the sleeve as well. Okay, now I'll show you the sleeve. This is the sleeve. So in the sleeve, because around here, from here to here is her elbow, from here to here is her elbow, so the opening of the sleeve ends here. Because our elbow is quite small, when I sew the sleeve reach here, I have to sew it that way, so it's more fitting. I need to sew it this way. That's why I've drawn the shock mark to guide me when I'm sewing it. So that's the 2 sleeves there. So I will turn the top of the sleeve, or I'll use a bias to turn it. And then when I gather this round, I'll stitch this to this. Once I've gathered it, I'll stitch that to that. The sleeve has no lining, so that's the sleeve section. So this is the front and the back, which I have cut already. So front and back. So I'm going to be showing you how I sew it. So this video is going to likely to be in 2 parts. If not, it's going to be very long. So this is the back with the lining, and this is the front with the lining. Alright guys, so this is the end of the cutting for the blouse. Okay guys, this is the blouse I cut earlier on. I'm just trying to sew it now. So what I've done is I have stitched the, don't know if the lighting is okay. I've stitched the lining. Quick, just want to show you. I've stitched the lining to the neck, as you can see. Stitch the lining to the neck, to the bottom. I've done the same on the back. This is one of the back piece. So I've stitched the neck together, I've notched it a bit, and I've also stitched the lining to the bottom. So this is the second part of the bottom, the back. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to turn it out. So this is the wrong side. You can see the neck, I've stitched it here. So I'm going to quickly notch the neck. And just notch it round. And then if you want, you can understitch it as well. If you understitch it, it's nice, it makes it more flatter. So now, as you can see, this is the fabric, that is the lining. I just put my hand in and turn it out. So I turn it out. Okay, so what I'm going to do next now, I'm going to turn the back one out as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to understitch it. So let me quickly show you how to understitch. So to understitch, this is the fabric, this is the lining. What you want to do, you see the edge we have stitched together here, you want to take it and push it to the lining. Okay, this is it now. Just watch my finger. So push it to the lining, and then you're going to stitch it. Take it to your machine and stitch close to the stitch you first of all made. If possible, stitch as close to the first stitch you made already. The stitch that joined the lining and the fabric together. Stitch as close to it as possible. Okay, so I'm going to do understitching on the bottom part as well, and also the back. And then I'll put the dart and come back and show you what I've done. Okay guys, so I'll show you what I've done. What I've done so far is that I have stitched the sleeves together. I've put the bottom part, which is the gather section or flare section, whichever you want to call it. So I've stitched the bottom part to it on both of the sleeves. And then for the front and the back, I have sewn the zip. This is the wrong side, so I've sewed the zip on it already, the wrong side. And I've also put the darts. I've stitched the darts on. This is the dart on the wrong side. So that's the dart at the wrong side. I've done the same on the back. This is the back, this is the dart at the back. I like to put the dart a bit high up so it's more fitting at the back. And then this is the zip. I've sewn the zip as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, okay, let me explain what I do with the neck first. So what I did with the neck earlier, I think I've explained earlier on already. I just use the lining to turn it. That's what I do for the neck. And then the bottom part of the blouse, I also use the lining to turn the bottom part of the blouse. You can see it there. That's the wrong side. That's the right side. And this is the dart. I've stitched the dart, as you can see. So what I want to do now is stitch both sides together. So I'll take both sides. This is the top, this is the armhole point there. This is the bottom. I've pinned it with pin. So I'll just go ahead and mark out the measurement and stitch it on both sides. And then after that, I'll fix the sleeve and I'll come and show you the finished blouse. Okay guys, just before I put the sleeve and sew the side, I just thought of showing you the blouse properly. So this is the front wrong side of the blouse you are looking at. This is the wrong side, so I'll turn it out. And this is the right side of the blouse. I just put a normal dart on it. So you can see this is the normal dart. Just thought I would show you properly before I join the side together. And this is the neck. So this is the neck. So I'm going to attach the sleeve to the side. So that is the front, and this is the back. You can see? So that is the neck at the back. That's the zip. Okay? And this is the darts. I've stitched the darts on it. So what I'm going to do now is attach the two of them together like so at the sides and on this side, and then I'll attach the sleeve. I'll show you the finished outfit. Okay guys, so this is the finished blouse. This is the blouse. It's finished now. That's the front, and this is the sleeve. It's the off shoulder, but also you can put it up to your shoulder to cover the bra. And this is it. So I just put a normal dot. Put a normal dot. This is the other side of the sleeve. You can also put it up to cover your bra. So this is the outfit in the front. It's the blouse, the off shoulder blouse or Igbo blouse. So I'll show you the back. Let me put this one up properly. See, you can put it up as well. Then I'll turn it and show you the back. So this is the side, and this is the back. So that's the back. That's the back. So the sleeve, I was going to gather it, but I decided to just pleat it a little bit rather than gathering it. So you can wear it to cover your bra. You can wear it to, there's the sleeve. So I pleated the sleeve at the front. Instead of gathering it, I think the pleating looks much better. So there's the blouse in the front. Again, I'll show you again in the back. So that's the blouse in the back. I like putting my dart up because it gives the blouse more fitting. So I like to put the dart all the way up to the bottom. In the front, I decided to also do the same thing. I put the dart all the way to the bottom of the blouse. Okay, so as I say, you can wear it to cover your shoulder, or you can do it as an off shoulder. You can do it as an off shoulder as well. Okay guys, so this is the end of the tutorial. Please like, share, subscribe and comment. I'll see you in my next video. You see me in my next video. Bye.